is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield on ESPN Radio 94.1.
Larry King Law brings us 757 Saturday Sports Talk. If you're injured in an accident, you call 757-INJURED for Larry King. Matt Hatfield here with you, and at this time on ESPN Radio 94.1, we're joined by a special guest. Man, this guy's got a gaudy record, 658 and 55 overall at last count. He might have got a win, though, before we finished calling him up, though. Getting closer to that 700 milestone, 18 consecutive state tournament victories. We're talking about 11 championships, 7 in a row. They've made the state tournament 16 times, 12 years in a row, and 22 Beach District titles. I mean, he's got more jewelry than a jewelry store. I tell you what, we're talking to our buddy Darnell Dozier, head girls basketball coach at Princess Anne High in Virginia Beach. How are you, my friend? How was your Thanksgiving?
Very good, very good. How about yourself? Not
too bad. I had too much turkey, too much stuffing, even a little bit of ham. But you know what? That's a good problem, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a blessing. Very.
It is. And, you know, we try to spend a little bit of time with loved ones, but, you know, practice all the proper social distancing measures. One of our questions of the day before we get into some hoops, Coach, is, and I'll get your take on it on 757 Sports Talk, is what's the latest you still eat Thanksgiving Day leftovers? So for you, how long do you let them linger in there in the fridge?
I think today will be the last day. You know, we don't have that much left, so I think today will be the last day.
Oh, so I can't save it for my football Sunday. That'd be a little tricky for me, you think? It might not go down too well.
No, it'll be okay if you keep it right. You know, you cover it right and do the right things.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
Take me through, and it's been a whirlwind of a year. And by the way, we had on your young lady who was headed to NC State, Isaiah James, one of the best girls basketball players I've seen here in the area in the last decade or so. It's just very polished, really good interview. She cracked me up a couple times, too, and I talked about your rings with 11, and I said, what's he going to do with them? He's running out of fingers for him. And she said, well, she keeps one around his neck for a necklace, which I think you've told us as well. But now that you got the one with the necklace, you can't keep piling them up over your neck, Coach, so you're going to run out of space for these rings if you keep getting them.
Well, you know, I like to get them now. I won't tell a lie about that, but you know, it feels good to have them, and it feels good to be able to just showcase them. And I do a lot of that sometimes. It all depends on what part of the season it is.
Hey, when you win as much as you do and run the program that you have, you're allowed to show off the bling-bling every now and then. But in all seriousness, tough year. I know her brother passing, Ashley James, who was a great one at Green Run, and your girls not getting that chance, as well as all the other area teams. You talk about Green Run boys, Hampton girls, Norview boys, Kings Fork, Woodrow Wilson boys, not getting a chance to play in that state championship game. You're all declared as co-champs. And looking back and reflecting back on that situation, just how unusual was that, and how did you all handle it as a team?
Well, I can tell you it was very unusual because it was like one game we had to play, and we had just played on that Thursday, and I personally thought we should have got the game since they were championship games. But I don't make those decisions, and the coaches don't make those decisions. So it was kind of good in one way and bad in another. I hate to split a championship with anybody. I think it should be just one. But like I said, I had no power over it.
Well, at least your buddy Franklin Harris, now Highland Springs, has finally got himself one because he had to share it with you.
Actually, I talked to him yesterday and kind of came up sometimes. I said, you know, you're lucky. You know, we laugh. You know, we're good friends. So I'm glad for him and his team. You know, I think they deserve some as well as other teams.
Absolutely. He does a terrific job with his girls. In fact, if he wasn't in Class 5, I'd venture to say he might have 4 or 5 of those things if he was in Class 6, 4, 3, you name it. But just the fact that, too, the thing that bugged me, Coach, a little bit was, and, you know, I'm not trying to be critical of any, you know, entity like the VHSL or whoever, but it was so odd to me that we went up there to broadcast those games on the NFHS network that Thursday. We got the John Marshall Championship for the boys in and the Gate City Girls Championship in, and then the teams that were up there literally got sent home. And I'm thinking to myself, well, they're already here. Why couldn't we just play those games that night for Class 1? I didn't get that. That really didn't comprehend with me.
I agree with you. I think they should have played the game that night, and I think they should have brought the other teams in on that Friday and played, you know, or either just played in the local area of the teams that were in the championship. You know, I thought we could have got away with that, even if we didn't have any fans or something, which is that's a good idea to have played the game.
Indeed. And, with not having the usual prep time and the interaction face-to-face with your young ladies, this is what all the basketball teams, boys and girls, are going through in this area. How have you managed it, you and your staff, been able to, I guess, deal with this, knowing that you don't have that usual preparation time? I mean, the first official practice is supposed to be December 7th. First official games, I'm hearing December 21st, but I'm also hearing it might get pushed into January. Tell me your game plan a little bit if you can.
Well, I think it's pushed into January 4th, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the last memo I got. But
okay.
To tell you the truth, I think it might hurt us worse than it hurt a lot of other teams because we do a lot of conditioning. I mean, real Army-type conditioning, and we haven't done any yet. And I think it might cause a lot of things to happen, like injuries that were unthought of, but you're not in good shape and you can't play. And we haven't even got a practice time yet. We haven't got any time yet. We haven't even been in the gym. So I think it's most schools, but I think but everybody else is having things like field house, and all these are having little winter leagues and fall leagues, and some AAU teams are still playing, but we haven't been able to do anything, and I think it's going to hurt us.
Well, and you're all kind of caught in a pickle because you do have these leagues that the VHSL allows you all to participate in under different names, with recreational club names, if you will. But you're kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't, Coach, as far as getting the chance to work with them in those things. Do you have your assistant coaches? And in fact, I know you've got a really trustworthy staff there, including one of the greats that played at ODU, and Sharice Grant also started for you on that staff. Do you have them do a lot more with them away from the actual building and kind of, conditioning outside? Kind of take me through what you do, because, that amount of time, it's not a lot to get ready from practice one to game one.
Yeah. And the worst part about it is in the city of Virginia Beach, we can't have any volunteer assistants now till next year.
Really?
And it leaves you down to just you and your assistant. And if you got 6, 12, 15 kids and you divide them up, you still got too many kids on one coach. I'm hoping they'll overturn this and let assistant coaches come back that are not paid. They've been there for this time. Why can't it be there now? But once again, we have no say-so of that.
What's the rhyme or reason behind that? Have they given you really much of a reasoning on it?
Well, they don't give you much reason about anything nowadays because they don't know. But they haven't really gave us one that the less people that are around the players, that better off our chances are.
Right now, as we sit here on November 28th, Coach, how confident, whether you put a percentage on it or not, that you will get this season started, A, and B, completed?
I don't think we're even going to start it. I've been thinking that from day one, and as the numbers go up, my feelings go along with it. I don't think we're going to play this year. I really don't. I think if we do play, we won't get the season finished. I just don't believe it. But I hope so, for my seniors' sake and for my freshmen' sake, that we get it in.
I do too. We're talking with Darnell Dozier, the 11-time state championship head girls basketball coach at Princess Anne in Virginia Beach. Our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1. 14 state title game appearances, 22 beach crowns, and of course that gaudy record of 658 and 55 overall. We know the administrators in the VHSL. We don't envy their position. They're in a very tough spot, as you well know, and I well know, and many of the listeners out there are aware of. But if you could offer them some insight or advice, what would you tell them in approaching this? I mean, I hear that in Virginia Beach's case, they have a decision. I think maybe a school board meeting coming up as well. What would you tell them in terms of how they would go about getting this season off the ground and doing it?
I think that we should play like in a bubble. Like the new Virginia Beach Fieldhouse has about 12 courts. And I think with the other side of the water, Boot Williams has about 8 to 12 courts, and they play in the bubble and not stay there, of course, but limit access to people who come there. And I think that way we could get all our games in, because you could at least play 3 games or 4 games at night or day. And I think it could go in there, but I don't think the city wants to put the bill, or the school board wants to put the bill. So that's what I've been hearing, because I had brought it up before. So I don't know any other place than that, That's my opinion.
Sure. And, the no fans situation, I know it's tough for those out there listening, and they say, why can't we have fans? But you got to do what's in the best interest of health and safety. Quite honestly, if you stream these games and you make these games available, archive, demand, download, for whatever the price may be through the NFHS network or whatever streaming platform, that to me is better than nothing, is it not?
Yeah, I think our games in Virginia Beach are going to be streamed. I think they got cameras in all the gyms now. I know they have them in ours, so if they got them in ours, trust me, they got them in just about all of them. So I think that's the way they plan to go. But I still don't. I think that would be the best idea, really.
Absolutely. In our last couple minutes with you, Coach, and we appreciate the time and look forward to hopefully following back up with you during this season. Tell us about this squad you have right now. I know you haven't had a chance to really see what they're fully capable of, but we do know Isaiah James is back as well as Michelle Ojo. You got a couple of D1 signees and some others on the roster that are going to be future D1 players, I imagine, as well.
Well, we hope so. We like for all our players to be just not D1 players, but just college players, We got Alexa Lindsay, who will be back for her senior campaign. She's going to Christopher Newport in the fall, hopefully. And we got Soraya Lane, who's going to Bridgewater in the fall. We got some kids. We got new kids like Soraya Griffin, who has all these offers, and Chloe Bedingfield and Celeste Bailey. And Zakiah Stevenson, who we think is going to be one of the best point guards around in a year. So.
Is it impossible to know what the ceiling of this team is right now until you get them in practice mode?
Well, I believe we played today. We probably lose every game. So, but
no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. I'll stop you right there. You're full of it. No, you wouldn't.
I don't know. Our bench is all freshmen, and to say that they know the game is just the worst part of it. That's why I never start freshmen just nothing, because they don't know the game. They think they do. The parents think they do. The AAU coaches think they do. But until you get to the speed of the game, it's just like going from high school to college. The speed in the game, the physical play of the game, and they don't have it yet. And I can tell that. But they'll get it, I'm quite sure. But we need to be in the gym with them more. So right now, I guess we could finish third.
Well, I'll get you out on this one. When we spoke with you on the air during our 757 at 6 live remote broadcast during the weeknight show from Green Run High School, brought to us by the U.S. Army in February, I think it was, we talked about this, you getting named to the Virginia High School League Hall of Fame. Correct me if I'm wrong, that ceremony didn't take place yet, has it?
No, it's going to be in April, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, nothing cancels it this time, It's such a great honor, me and my staff worked so hard, and I just think it was time and way overdue, but I'm happy for it.
Well deserved. I mean, I don't know if we're going to ever see another coach do what you've done in terms of the championships and the performance of your girls basketball team there, and you get so many of them onto the next level and prepare them for life even beyond the sport of basketball. He is the VHSL Hall of Famer. He's going to get inducted at some point. We do hope it's going to be in April. Darnell Dozier with us, and we do hope we get a chance to watch your team on another journey to the state tournament. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You got it. That's Darnell Dozier with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, 6:58 and 55. Man, that's better than Belichick, Auerbach, Phil Jackson. List goes on and on. That's a darn good winning percentage.
That is Hall of Fame material right there.
Goodness. We're going to talk to Doug Ripley, the play-by-play voice of the ODU women. They're in action today at GW. That's George Washington at 2 o'clock. 1:30 is our pregame coverage with Doug up there. It's coming your way next year on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, brought to you by Larry King Law, and it's on ESPN Radio 94.1.